Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode of Creating Crimson's Fantasy. Before we get started in today's episode, let's take a quick look at what happened in the last episode. In the last episode, we looked at the implemented user interface, tooltips, and a lot of information about the attributes and gem system for equipment. In today's episode, I'm going to show you the new HUD concept and the creation process behind creating the game's characters. The player HUD is an important part of any game. It provides the player important information like health, stamina, and more. This week, I went ahead and worked on a concept. I'm not happy with it just yet, but it's getting there. Big thanks to those that tuned into the Twitch stream to help me out. The design was a struggle, but chat was able to give me their feedback in real time, which helped a ton. You can tune in every weekday at 11 a.m. PST to see the development of the game. The major goal of the HUD is to make a design that shows you what you need when you need it. There's two modes to the HUD. The free roam mode and the combat mode. Free roam contains less information about the player, but will highlight more of the exploration aspects, like the minimap, quest details, and location details. The combat mode is focused on showing you your abilities, letting you know about dangers, and more. It also makes things like quest details and the minimap more transparent, so you can focus on the battle. There's a few things that are important in the HUD that'll help you within your adventure. Let's first start with the free roam mode. In the free roam mode, you'll see information about your current pinned quests and where you're at in the world. The minimap shows you enemies that your character can see in front of you, and it also contains information about the environment you're in, things like your body temperature, the time of day, and the weather. These aspects are super important. I won't go into great detail about them since I want to keep that for another episode, but the important details are these. Your body temperature is important in certain worlds. Getting too hot or too cold can get you killed. The time of day is important for certain quests. Nighttime will also contain greater enemies. The weather can affect your movement, sight, and even your body temperature. I'll go into even greater detail about these mechanics in a later episode. In the combat mode, the exploration aspects of the game become more transparent, since it's not necessarily needed in battle. Don't worry though, if you don't like this feature, you'll be able to turn it off in the settings. Things that you wouldn't typically see in free roam mode become available on screen though. Things like your special sword skills, fighting style, and enemy weak points. The idea of this mode is that your character is more focused on potential threats rather than moving forward in the world. Let's focus on a couple elements in here. The health bar is currently orange because the player is nearly half health. As you get closer to death, it'll get closer and closer to a red tint. Big thanks to Zyrex Numbers and a few others on Twitch for the idea. Right under that is your armor damage reduction, a super important part of combat. When you wear armor, you gain higher armor ratings. These armor ratings are used to reduce the amount of damage that you can take. There's a lot to this system that we'll go into detail in a future episode, but let's just take a quick look at what it'll do. When you get damaged, instead of taking all the damage in your health, it'll instead take half of an armor piece and reduce the damage by a certain percentage. This percentage is dependent on what kind of armor you're wearing, things like cloth armor versus heavy steel armor. When you lose all armor pieces, you no longer have damage reduction and you take full damage from enemy attacks. Be careful though, if heavy attacks from enemies hit you, they may take more than a single armor piece. These details are still work in progress, but the premise will mostly stay the same. I'm pretty excited to implement this system into the game because it seems like a great way to deal with armor. In the bottom left is your abilities and fighting style. The abilities are pretty straightforward. You can select from 3 skills in your professions table and it can assist you in 3 different ways. Attacking, defending, and assisting. Attacking is used to damage an enemy, defending is used to take less damage from an enemy, and assisting is used to heal you or assist your companions. The fighting style is something I've used in a past game project. You can switch which style you're in at any point, even able to use different ones to create combos. The character creation process was terrifying at first, but slowly became a fun experience. I started off with creating the male and female heads, then from there I got some free base meshes from the internet to start working on the body. I had to edit a lot of the body to make it fit what I wanted for the game. A lot still needs to be done, but it's definitely getting there. The one thing I urgently need to work on is the facial features of the characters. I want to add in eyebrows and eyes, potentially even a mouth. Then I need to get some hair on the characters. A lot still needs to be done. The characters at the moment are completely naked, but in the future, characters that have no equipment will have undergarments. As you may have seen from the last segment, the characters also have cell shading applied. However, it lacks a lot of details that I want for the characters, specifically a detail called rim lighting. Rim lighting is essentially a small section of light that appears where light is coming from. Right now, the cell shading only contains 2 shades, the lowlights and the highlights. The end goal for the characters is to have fully customizable characters that you can play with on launch. Things like being able to change your hairstyle, color of your character's eyes, facial structure, and more. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you enjoyed, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to press that little bell on the button next to the subscribe button so you know whenever I post a video. If you want to see the development of the game live, feel free to check out my stream at twitch.tv/firstcrimson. Link is down in the description. In the next episode, we'll be going through the basic combat for the game. You won't want to miss it. That's the end of this episode though. Have a fantastic start to your week.